Hello everyone, welcome to this new series. For the series, I'll be showing you guys how to initiate the STK push using the Daraja API. So, learning how to connect your application to the M-PESA payment is an easier way to accept payments online, and it's really simple. There's just a few things that you need to keep in mind when you're working on the development mode, and then once you go live, there are some few settings that you need to also update when you are on production mode. So for this tutorial, I'll show you guys how to build using Node.js. And first and foremost, you need to create a Node.js server, and then we'll wire up the STK push, and how to connect the Daraja API into the project. So let's go ahead and create our Node.js application. So first, make sure that you've installed Node.js in your laptop. So to do that, just search for nodejs.org and then download, and then just pick uh, the right Node.js depending on your system. So for me, I've already installed, and once you run the installation, you can use the Windows installer. Once you have the installation complete, if you type Node.js, I mean Node V, it'll show you the version that you just installed. So when I was doing the installation, it was version 22.18.0. Right now, the latest version is version 22.19. And when you install Node, it'll also install the Node package manager. So this one is used to install uh, packages in your project. So the npm version that I'm using is 10.9.3. So let's go ahead and initialize our project. And to do that, uh, open your command prompt or git bash, and then you can cd into any directory, either document or desktop. So let's do desktop, and then let's use this command make directory, and then give the name of this directory. We can name it M-PESA integration, yeah, something like that. So this is a folder name for our project. Once you click enter, you can cd into this folder. So the folder name is M-PESA integration. So right now, as you can see, we are inside the desktop and then inside the M-PESA integration. So I normally use VS Code to write code, and to install VS Code, just open your browser and then just type VS Code. Once you type VS Code, you'll see this one right there. Just click on the download and follow the installation process depending on your system. So going back to our command prompt, to open this project inside VS Code, just type code and then dot right there. So once you have the folder open, you can just click yes, and then let me close this, and then you can close the welcome screen. The welcome screen is a guide for opening, for maybe creating a new file, um, creating a new folder, and so forth and so on. So let's see. Uh, the next step that we'll do, we'll open our terminal. This is the terminal for the VS Code, and it gives you different options. You can open a PowerShell terminal, a Git bash, or the regular CMD, the command prompt. So to use this terminal to initialize the Node.js server, I mean the Node.js server, you can just type npm and then init and then use the y flag. So once you do that, it will create this package.json. This one has the script. There's a script right there where you can add like the start command for your server. There is also the name of the entry file. So for this one, the default one is usually named index.js. So we can rename this to be we can rename it to be app.js, and then now we need to create this app.js. So just go ahead and click a new file, and this one you can create in the root directory. So app.js. So this one is where we'll write all the code for our app, for our Express server. And the next thing now, as you can see, we don't have any dependencies right now, because package.json is the one that will be listing all the dependencies that we are using in this project. So as you can see also, we don't have the node modules. So the next step, we need to install the required packages. For our case, we are using Express, and we can add nodemon. So nodemon is another package that I normally use, and this one is useful in development because it will restart the server automatically whenever you make any new changes. So we can go to, just go ahead and open just open a ChatGPT in your browser, and then just search uh, create a Node.js server using Express and add nodemon. So we'll start with these two packages. The first one is required. The other one, this dependency, is used for development purpose only. So that's why, as you can see, it's using the dash dash save dash dev flag right there. But this other one is required. So go ahead and copy the first one. So going back to, let me close this. So going back into, you can close the command, the CMD terminal. You don't need it now because I will be using the terminal inside the VS. So let me clear this. So go ahead and paste the command to install the Express package. So give it a few seconds. So as you can see, the Node modules folder has been created, and then these were all the packages will be installed. And then as you can see also, there's a new dependency that has been added into this file. Also, we have a new package, log.json, and this one is, it tracks all the packages and the version that we are using. As you can see, there is the Express right there. And then let's go ahead and install the second one. So go ahead and copy that command and then paste. So similarly, like the other one, it will be installed as a dev dependency because it's not required in production. It's normally used locally when you are doing when you are in the development mode. So as you can see, it has been added in this section right there, and the version that we are using is 3.1.10. So the next part, we need to update this script right there to start using Node. And to do that, let's go ahead. As you can see, the next step that we need to do is to create the server file. For our case, we created the app.js. So the next part, we need to before we add this content, we need to add this configuration in the script tag. So as you can see, we need to add this start command, and then use the node and then the name of the file that we be using. So for our case, we'll be using app.js. So go ahead and copy this section right there, and then change this script right there, and then use the new one. And then don't forget to change the name, because for our case we are using app.js. So go ahead and change it to app.js. Similarly to the dev, change it to app.js. Now that we have that set up, as you can see, we then the main entry is the app.js, and for the scripts we need to also use the same. So go ahead and format your code, and to do that you right click your file, and then there is also a keyboard shortcut. You can just press Shift, Alt, and F. So as you can see, the code has been formatted, and I'm sure maybe you're wondering what I'm using to format the code. If you right click and then format with, because there are many uh, code formatting extension. For me, I'm using the Prettier code formatter, and this is the default one right there. So to get to install that in your VS Code, just click on this section. It says extensions, and then go ahead and maybe search the name of the package. It's called Prettier code formatter. So it's this one right there. So I've already installed it. I don't need to install it again. So once you have that, it will be able to format the code that way. There is proper identification for the different code section, and it's easy to visualize. So the next part that we need to set up is to add to initialize the Express, and then start the Express server. So let's go back up here. As you can see, we need to require the Express package, and then assign that Express in a constant name app. And then the other part that we'll be using is this port. Normally you need to set up the port inside the .env file, especially when you're in production mode. That way people are not able to see like sensitive information like the ports, or maybe let's say like the API keys, like the one that we'll be using from Daraja. Those are sensitive information that you need to have a separate file, and that file is named .env. So we'll do that later. The next section, the root file, and the root file is has a slash like this, and this is the main entry point for the application. So whenever, since we have assigned the 3000 for the port number, whenever you open your browser, http and then slash localhost, and then 3000, you're able to see this text right there. And then for this to work, you need to start the server. So to start the server, you need to uh, type app.listen, and then the port number which you've mentioned here. You can change it to 4000, 5000, or whatever. And then there's this callback right there that will console a message server is running on this port. That way you're able to know that the server is up and running, and then you can continue building the application. So let's go ahead and copy that part right there, and then let's paste it right here. You can, let me reduce this right there. That way we have plenty of room to work with. So as you can see, I've added the Express, and it's requiring the Express that we've just installed. Like we've mentioned, the root, the main route will be able to see this Hello Express, and the app is listening on this port 3000. So since right now we've said to start this application, you can just, in development mode, you can just say npm run dev. And once you do that, let's open below in our terminal. Let me clear this first. So just run npm run dev. That's the command that we just added in the script right there. Yeah, so the dev will use nodemon to start our application. So let's go ahead and press enter and give it a few seconds. So as you can see, we are getting the message, this one right here, server is running on port 3000. let's say you change this part right here to be Express server is running, and as you can see, any changes that you make in your code will automatically make the node move to restart the application, and that way you're able to see real changes in your app whenever you do anything. Let's say you're making changes in your route file, or maybe in your models, or maybe in your controller. You don't have to stop the server every time. So that's really handy when you're doing development. So the next thing now, we can open this URL by clicking. As you can see, we are getting a message, hello Express, and that means our server is working. And let's say maybe, to see the node one also in action, let's say maybe you do any changes right there, the server will automatically restart. So that means you don't have to keep stopping in and restarting the server every time you do any changes. As you can see also, the text has been updated. So the next section of this tutorial, we need to install other packages along the way, and then also we need to introduce an M-PESA route, and then also we need to uh, log in into the Daraja API, and then that way we're able to get the API keys. And for this, we'll be using the sandbox because uh, for you to be able to get the real API keys, there are some requirements that you need to first meet, like registering for Lipa na M-PESA. That way you're able to get the required items like the business code, and that's really easy. Normally, once you do the application, you're able to receive all those required credentials, and you can just update the parts of your code by just changing like the API keys, the business code, and so on. So thank you. Let's stay tuned for the next section.